Hello, this is Derrex Brady, series regular on Johnson. This is FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. We'll be that man. Better, stronger, faster.
I'm cramping. We'll be right back with Derrex Brady. Welcome back to the show, everyone. So my guest tonight is a well-known TV actor. You've seen him on a lot of shows, but right now he's co-starring in the new show Johnson that you can stream right now on Bounce TV. But you know what? Let's take a look at a clip.
Let's play basketball. Me and Jarvis, you and this terrible guy. You're horrible, man.
In elementary school, we all had to line up in alphabetical order for lunch. These guys were next to me because we all had the same last name.
I know it's hard for us black men to open up, let alone to talk to somebody who really understands.
I was wondering if you've seen Greg?
Which Greg?
Yeah, he's working right now.
I can't hear you.
Men don't break the code, girl.
Johnson, an all-new episode, Sunday, 8/7 Central on Bounce.
Please welcome to the show my man, Derrex Brady. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Want to hear the ironic thing about this whole interview? Like when I spoke to Anthony Turk, great guy, by the way, great publicist. Yes, Anthony, yes. I'm giving you some bumps. I'm editing last week, and I turn on the TV, and there it is, Johnson's Bounce, right? And I'm like, wait. That's the guy I'm interviewing next week. I'm like, all right. So I'm literally doing research and eating Chinese food at the same time. So it was, let me tell you something, man. It's a great show. I'm sure you get a lot of people comparing it to like The Brothers or, The Best Man, because it's, like four friends, like really getting along great. But there's a bigger story to this. There's a great significance about it. First of all, your character, Jarvis, I think your character, honestly, out of all four of them, I think you're the one that's kind of like the soulful character. I think you're the character that keeps everybody together. Tell me what you think about this role that you're playing and how you landed. I think it's pretty great for your career, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You know what's interesting? Deji LeRae created the show, and we were both working on this HBO project. And he just, and I could have really missed this moment. And I hope anyone that's listening, listen to the moments, right? He just says, hey, man, I wrote this script. There's a character or two in there that I think you would be great at. Do you want to take a read? And I was like, yeah, sure, send it to me. And that was it. And I read it in 3 days. I got back to him and I was like, hey, man, listen, I would love to be part of it. I think this character, Jarvis, I think I got to into him. And he was like, great. Like 4 months later, we read it with the rest of the cast and we shot a pilot on their dime. It was Deji LeRae and Thomas Q. Jones, who plays Omar. But those are the two showrunners of our show. But on their dime, we shot a pilot and they shopped it. And 5 years later, Bounce picked it up. And the thing that was so amazing about that is that they had other interests. But rarely in Hollywood does this happen. They were adamant about keeping the four of us together. Myself, Philip Smithy, who plays Keith, Thomas Q. Jones, and Deji LeRae. Like they were adamant, Deji and Thomas, that we're not breaking up the four. Right. And so they wanted to have creative control. They wanted to have their voice and they wanted to keep us together. And so they waited until it landed. And David Hudson, the president of programming on Bounce, picked it up, man. And then 5 years later, we get to start shooting this series. So I didn't even audition for this. It's just that he knew my work, liked my character and thought, man, you would be able to play this character. I don't think anyone else can play it. Like you'll approach it. And that's how I got the role.
Oh man, let me tell you something. The first thing that I'm hearing out of this whole thing, I love the fact that they want to keep you together. I think every show, they always look to recast, and it's usually not just one of them. It's usually at least two of them. And that's so rare in Hollywood that they see all four of you and say, you know what? No, we're not moving this. I don't want to hear this name. No, these are the four, because I think it's probably because you have such great chemistry, all four of you together. It really seems like you're brothers, to be honest with you.
Listen, what you see on screen is what you get. It actually was a blessing that we didn't shoot the series on Bounce till about 5 years later, because it gave us time to really develop this brotherhood. So what you see on screen is really what you get. Like, we go on vacations together. We go out of the country together. We're at each other's, events, and we pick up the phone when things are great. We pick up the phone when we need to talk things out. It's really real. And so these are the brothers that I never had.
Yeah. And I loved it. And I love the storyline behind it. Now, if people don't know, the executive producer is Cedric the Entertainer. So you know there's going to be some comedic stuff in there. But the storyline's kind of cool. Like, it's that normal storyline at first where you all met when you were kids. You became best friends. But the ironic part was all four of your last names is Johnson, which is kind of weird. You don't really find four Whartons anywhere in the world. And if I do, I'm sure we're related. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm sure we're related somehow. I'm going to turn to my dad and be like, okay, Dad, I know you were in the Army, but how many women did you actually sleep with? Because I have a lot of brothers out there, and they're prettier than me, and I'm kind of mad right now. So
he's like, got a little attitude.
Exactly. One of the things I love about your character, and it hit home with a lot of people today, because there's a lot of issues going on today in the world that's just coming back, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world. It's like, hey, guys, we're human. Can we just get over all the BS that we're bringing up? You're constantly going back and forth with one of your brothers about your marriage. It always seems that no matter how close you get, the fights always come out because he's got this thing that, you're not acting like black man. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, just because I married a white woman doesn't mean I'm not still black. I can't change this. I fell in love. Now, was that a hard role to kind of play during that part? Because you have to dig in deep sometimes, and there's got to be a little anger there, because I know a lot of my friends that go through that. I date a lot of sisters too. So I go through the same thing in real life. Yeah.
I knew you had swag, Todd. I knew you had swag. I knew it.
Listen, man. I love all the women, but Latinos and sisters, sorry, ladies, but they can kiss. Let's throw it down. How was that taking on that role? Did you find a little struggle doing that back and forth?
Well, the thing about Jarvis is, like, he likes to keep the peace, man. He's trying. That's what he wants to do. But that scene that we end up having a fight on episode 6, it was a big scene, man. And we really dived into what that scene was really about. What it really was about is that he was hurt. Jarvis was hurt because out of all the guys, Jarvis met Greg first. Greg introduced Jarvis to Keith and to Omar. So he's like, if anybody should be standing up for me, if anybody should have my back, it should be you.
Right.
And so all these jabs you've been giving me and doing all these things, you've crossed the line now when you straight out now talking about my wife. Jarvis is like, look, I went to Connecticut. I graduated. I was at Yale. I found something in common, and I had to adapt to overcoming an environment where there wasn't a lot of me. And so I found this woman that who's played by the talented Jessica Luza.
Yep.
I found this woman, Lisa, who we have a common thing with. And so, I'm just like, listen, man, love is love. Just let that be what it is. But it was difficult, just trying to, me innately as a person, I want to, if I feel like I need to, I don't like to be bullied. If I feel like I need to, chest out, speak up, I'm going to do it. But with Jarvis, he doesn't really do that. So the tough part was not playing the role where I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder and I had to prove myself, or I had to show how I do love Black women, but I end up marrying a white woman. I had to really try to just go, you know what? The way Jarvis is going to approach this is that he wants to keep the peace. Right. And so that was difficult, taking those jabs, episode 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Those were tough, but I thought it was beautifully written, man. And we were able to really tell a story and give a different perspective, how two different people can meet that have some common themes that bring them together.
Yeah, and I love how classy you guys went about it. Even the lines when you're yelling at them were very intelligent. And I love when shows go beyond the boundaries to hit on topics that a lot of people are afraid to talk about. And it's like, don't talk about it, because love is love, and your character said it best. I fell in love. You can't control who you love. And I think the world needs to understand that. You can't control who's going to be your family, whether it's blood or not. And that's why I love characters like this. And on top of that, I'm around hip hop guys all the time, and they're always saying, like, you know, why do we always bash the brothers that are really doing great, going to Yale and getting great jobs? But then we still got to go in on them because we're trying to find something to make us like feel better about ourselves because they're doing better than me. And that happens every single day. And that's why I like your character, because it's that BS that I can't stand. Like, look, this guy's doing great. He's going to school. He's got a real estate firm. He's got a beautiful wife who supports him 100%. I don't give a shit if she's green with that, like antennas, man. Like, how many of us want to find something like that? And speaking of that, who is that beautiful woman sitting right behind you? Oh, wait, go ahead.
If I could just say, you know, Deji wrote that episode 6, and he did a great job, because one of the lines that I really said to Omar that was poignant was, I didn't marry Lisa because she's not Black.
Right.
I married her because she's the woman that I fell in love with. And I just thought, man, like, that's the thing, because a lot of times, we love our Black queens. We love the community. And I think a lot of times it seems like if you don't marry Black, then you don't love them. And it's like, that's not the case. Not for Jarvis. It's not the case for Minion. And so I thought he wrote that beautifully, and we were able to really convey that.
I love it. I'm going to tell you right now, I think you guys should take that clip of that line and post that bad boy on TikTok or Instagram, because that's a video line I think a lot of people would reshare because of the meaning behind it. I think it's awesome. And speaking of beautiful women, is that your wife behind you right there?
Yeah, man, that's my wife. That's my queen right there. Yeah.
I see that. She's like, you better show my picture on that wall and let people know.
She's probably like, move your shoulder. Move your shoulder.
Yeah, she looks like it. I love black and white photos, man. That's why I'm looking at that thing. I'm like, dope. And they get the brothers right above, which is great. Let's talk about your community now. Some of the info I was looking at, this is really hard to do. You live in LA, but you have to commute to Atlanta to shoot this show. Was it constant going back and forth, or did you have to actually stay there for like 6-7 months to shoot this thing?
You know, for the first season, we shot that for 3 months, and we shot that over Thanksgiving and Christmas. We went from November all the way into January, almost February, and so it was almost 4. And so, we shot that for Thanksgiving. We stayed in town, but for Christmas they flew us all back home so we could be home, and then we came back. And so it was great to see the family. It was great to break it up. Season 2, we just stayed in Atlanta the whole time and shot. And so we were just away from the family. And so, but it was good because, I had FaceTime. I was able to connect with my wife and my kids and my family. So that really kind of kept us connected. And even though it wasn't the pandemic in season 2, like it was season 1, we still were in a bubble. Like season 1, we were in a bubble. We were shut down. It was either your room, the gym, or filming. That's it.
Right.
Season 2, it still was kind of like that, but towards the end, they let us get out a little bit. But it was great to still be connected to the family through FaceTime, because that's how we were able to still keep things flowing and good. But ironically, although I did miss my family a lot, I will say there was something new to this. Like, I've been on location for a week, for 10 days, but I've never been on location for multiple months. And I did find that I was able to go deeper into the character and to the work, because that's really all I was focused. I was either filming, I was either in the gym, or I was in my room and talking to my family. But I wasn't doing all the things that I do when I'm here. You know, it doesn't matter if I'm going to work with Al Pacino. Can you pick up, the orange juice or the milk on the way home? Or, I'm still putting the trash out. I'm still doing all the things that a father and husband does. So out there, I was able to dive in. My wife really stepped it up and holding it down for me while I was gone.
And I love it. I don't know how many people can actually say, like, when I was working with Al Pacino, like, I say that every day. I wish I could say that just once. Like, yeah, man, I wiped Al Pacino's ass and it was awesome. I still got the toilet paper. It's great.
Yeah, I still got it. It's framed.
It's, I got to wipe it off once in a while. It starts to stink, but it's cool. I got Al Pacino's toilet paper. But I love how you're talking about your family. Very cool thing that's dear to my heart and a lot of people that work with me. You are a father for 4 boys. You're obviously a great dad. I've found a lot of great stories about you, but you also are a big contributor to a charity, I believe, called Young Warriors, which really gives back to kids, fatherless boys, correct?
Yes.
What made you decide to get into a charity like this and really put your heart and soul into it?
Well, first of all, Jason Hill, who's the founder of it and is now partnered with Eric Dickerson, the Hall of Fame Eric Dickerson. It's just amazing what they're doing for fatherless boys, man. Yeah. But growing up, I didn't grow up with my biological father. And there was a time where my mom was single for many years and before she got remarried. And this is a program that I wish I had. I didn't really have men in my life. All my family was in Michigan. My mom moved to California, and I didn't have a lot of older men in my life. And I definitely didn't have my father in my life at that time or later. And so this is an organization, a program that I wish I could have been a part of. Someone that could have taught me how to do a PowerPoint presentation, or when I go to meet someone and greet them, to shake their hand and look them in the eye, or just how to tie a tie. That's what this program does. And so I just thought it was amazing what they were doing. And I wanted to participate and contribute through donation, and as well as when I have time to mentor. And so I just think it's an amazing organization. Jason Hill created this because he grew up to an addicted mother, single. He never even met his father. He has no idea what his father looks like to this day. And he grew up on one of the hardest streets, Akron, Ohio. This is a blonde hair, blue-eyed kid that made it to school and back and forth in a predominantly Black neighborhood. That's one of the hardest neighborhoods in Akron, Ohio. And so he's got a great story. In fact, we're gonna tell his story through a film that my producer partner MD Walton and I are writing. But it's just an amazing story. And so he knew firsthand what these fatherless boys need, because that was him. And they're really making a difference, really having a ripple effect that's going on. I mean, some of the kids that went in this program have went on to get scholarships and go to college, and have helped to provide and do the donations for so many different companies that believe in him and this organization. It's amazing what you're doing, man. If more people want to learn about it, they can go to youngwarriors.org and they can find more information about it. But it's an amazing program.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, there's so many kids today that have no fathers or don't even know where they are. Let me tell you something. I don't have kids. I want them. I can't. I do. I mean, but I can't fathom the thought of knowing if I had a kid, why the hell wouldn't I want to be around this kid? Like, this is my son. Yeah. This is my boy. Like, even if I was struggling, that kid alone should step you out of the gutter to make you want to be something with your life, to give him something to look up to. This is why I don't understand how a lot of people have kids, but they don't give a crap. Like, I was lucky out of mom and dad, and my father wasn't around a lot. He was there for me when it came for money. I won't knock him to that. But I just never understood how you can have a kid and not want to be there for him.
It's interesting because some of the dads, they have just disappeared. And then some of the dads, and I won't get way into it, but what I found out is that some of them were, they were in situations and systems that were easily to get got and get a lot of time where they were really away. And one of the things that the program does also is they bridge the gap, because I know for me, growing up without my father, at one time, I really did not like him. I hated him. And I had to heal. And so this program gives the tools and helps these fatherless kids with emotions that when the father is able to step back in, they're able to bridge that. So they're doing a tremendous job, and they're really helping single moms on how to adapt and how to help raise these young kings, man, that just don't have that father role in their life. So it's just an amazing program.
Yeah, and I love that you're saying that. And speaking of your life, I knew you grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Is there a lot of acting out there? I mean,
no, man. I'm so grateful that my mom, left when I was little and came out to California, where I could really dream. Ironically, I will say later there was, because I think they shot Batman there with Christopher Nolan. They shot the Transformers with Mark Wahlberg. So there were some opportunities that did go there, but back when I was a kid, there was nothing. It was about cars. It was factories. It was people just waking up, working, coming home. And so my mom, as a little kid, we moved out to California with my dad at the time. That wasn't my life at that point. Right. And rightfully so, my mom was a big dreamer, and that's how she helped me dream. And so I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to see like my reach could really go far. I could really dream big and not feel crazy for it.
Oh, that's amazing. I love how your mom dreamed and wanted you to dream big too. I think it's one of the downfalls of a lot of parents is that they want us to have a job, right? To make money. Right. Part of our life is to be who we want to be. And it's not about the dollars all the time, even though, don't get me wrong, we all want to be millionaires, but I want to wake up and be like, damn, I can't wait to get to my career because all my friends are going to their job, you know? And
that's real. That's real. And you know how it is. You know how it is. It's like in this business, it's almost like, why are you doing that? Why do you want to do that? And then once you start getting the gigs, it's like, my baby is doing it. So, I mean, she did want me to dream. She definitely had concerns, but as things started to happen, it was like, okay, maybe this is your purpose. Okay, maybe this is something that you're supposed to do. And then I was just the apple of her eye about it. She was so proud, and it was so awesome. She's passed, but it's so amazing that before she passed, I was able to get the call that I was going to be on my first series. So she knows that I was on the trajectory to be doing this for my life.
Yeah, and congrats on all this, man. Now, one more thing I wanted to know, if you weren't going to fly into acting when you went to Cali, did you have a backup plan that people don't know about you? Is there something like, were you going to be like a professional WWF wrestler or something like that?
No, man, acting was it. I was in a music group and we had to deal with Interscope Records for a minute, but I knew I had no business doing that. I had no business being there. If they asked me to freestyle out of nowhere, I would have messed up and embarrassed myself. So I'm glad that I knew to leave that respectfully. And I don't know what else I would be doing if I wasn't acting and telling stories this way. I really don't. I mean, I would figure out a job and go do it, you know, but yeah, I can't imagine for my life doing anything else but telling stories and moving people. I just couldn't imagine not doing that.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, man. You got a really cool personality. And the reason why I'm saying that, I'm glad you do, because there are a lot of great actors that me and you know that you don't hear about anymore. And one of the main reasons is because people don't understand they're hard to work with. Right?
Yeah.
You seem like you're very easy to work with. And that's why I think your career is going to last until God comes down one day and says, all right, son, we need an actor up in heaven. We need you, bro.
Look, as long as they don't put the green Skittles in the bowl, I'm fine. I'm the coolest dude. No, I've learned, I've watched people, man, as we come up, and a lot of the older people that were acting when I first came in, like Annie Potts and, you know, just talking to different people, you know, I learned from them, and they're like, listen, just do the job, do the work. You know, I had a great opportunity to work with Mark Harmon, and one of the nicest guys in the biz. And he was like, I would watch him and I would see how he just did the job, didn't get caught up in all that stuff. And so I've been blessed to work with a lot of great actors that have been in the game for a long time. And I saw how they move, and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have to be that. It really can be this. And that, ironically, that's all four of us on the show. Like, you know, Thomas Q. Jones, he played in the NFL for 12 years. He just got on the, he was submitted for Hall of Fame, and he will get on there at some point. But he's humble, man. He did the work. People don't know that he went to class. He studied for like 3.5 years, and then he came into the game running hard. And Deji and Larray and Philip Smithy, like all of us are all about the work, the craft, and just being respectful to everybody across the board, man. Like our crew, everyone behind the scenes. It's just, look, you're getting paid to do what you love to do. Live like you're doing what you love to do. And that's how we do it.
I love it. And I think I was going to ask you advice to give an actor, but I'll be honest with you, what you just said, that's the perfect advice to give any up and coming actor. Just really love what you do and work hard at it. Now, season 2 starts, I believe, July 10th. It's coming out on Bounce, correct? That's coming out.
Yeah, soon? July 10th, 8/7 Central for the West Coast. It's 5 p.m. So yeah, this Sunday, man, it premieres. Season 2 premieres.
Yeah, and everybody, I think you guys should look forward to it. Like I said, I fell into it while I was at home eating Chinese food, and it's a great show, man. I want to watch the rest of season 1 so I can get to season 2. But Derek, man, it's been great. Thank you for being a guest on FaceTime with Todd Wharton, and congratulations on the new show, bro.
Man, I really appreciate it, man. On the real, thank you for having me on your show. We're all busy. We all have schedules, so making time for me to talk about my show, I appreciate it, man. I look forward to coming back again.
I look forward to having you soon, man. Take care, and I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right, man.
So Derek, man, thank you for being a guest on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. It was such a pleasure talking to you, man, and congratulations on the new show, Johnson, that's streaming on Bounce TV. So guys, definitely check this out. You can view season 1. I think it's a great season. Yeah, I definitely saw it by accident while eating Chinese food, but I was going to do research anyway. I swear to God. But Derek, man, it was great talking to you, and I'm glad to see things are going real well, life after COVID, and congratulations on working with Cedric the Entertainer and getting your show picked up. We know it takes a lot of time to get these shows picked up, and I love the fact that all 4 of the actors that were playing the characters, you all stayed together and became the Johnsons. And guys, again, check the show out, because with these 4 that are doing all 4-star roles, season 2 that's coming out, I guarantee you there's going to be a season 3. So I hope everybody enjoyed this interview with my man Derek and myself on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. And like I always say, guys, if you're not living a passionate life, then whose life are you living? I'll see you soon. Take care.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
I'm not always on YouTube, but when I am, I make sure I'm subscribed to FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
Be thirsty, my friends.